Now we shall discuss questions from exercise 8.2. Let's say we have question number 2. It says that we need to find out the limit n tends to infinity an. That means limit n tends to infinity n plus minus 1 raised to power n. So we can write it as limit n tends to infinity 1 plus minus 1 upon n. Now this thing will become 1 plus 0. This is 1. So can you think that why it is 0? Why? Because if you take minus 1 or plus 1, doesn't matter. If you plot the values, that will go to 0. Let's say this. Let's say this is 0. Let's say this is 1. Right. So if you put n is equal to 1, let me put it in xy coordinate. So let's plot the values of this. So here you have a sequence, put n is equal to 1, it will become minus 1. So value is here. So if you put n is equal to 2, it will become at 2, n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, it will become half. Put n is equal to 3, it will become minus 1 by 3. Put n is equal to 4, it will become 1 by 4. So you see that these values, however oscillating, but oscillating in an opposite manner, right? So the distance with the x-axis is decreasing continuously and it will approach towards 0. So it would be something like this: minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, and so on. So this distance is keep on decreasing, right? So that's why the sequence is going to 0. Let's say question number 5 says that you need to find the limit of the sequence this. So we need to find out limit n tends to infinity an. That means limits n tend to infinity 1 minus 5 n raised to power 4 n raised to power 4 plus 8 n cube. So all we need to do what? Need to take the maximum power of n common from numerator and denominator. So here if n tends to infinity, 1 by n tends to 0. So we are left with this answer, that is minus 5 by 8. Question number 12. Limit n tends to infinity an 2 minus, so let's say this, limit n tends to infinity into the factor 3 plus 1 by 2n. So this will become, of course, 0, 3 plus 0, so the answer would be 6. Now, as we have done question number 2, just like this, if you have a similar situation and you want to find out this expression, this will also alternatively fluctuating, just like this, oscillating near 0. So as n tends to infinity, this will also go to 0, right? Similarly, now let's say talk about question number 17. So limit n tends to infinity sine pi by 2 plus 1 by n. So this will be sine pi by 2 and this expression would be 0. So sine pi by 2 would be 1. And I have one more question over here, question number 18, that is limit n tends to infinity n pi cos n pi. Now you know that cos n pi would be minus 1 raised to power n. So this sequence will definitely, this limit will not exist and this is divergent. So now a few questions which are based on the sandwich theorem. So say question number 19. We need to find out the limit n tends to infinity sin n by n. Now we know that our sin n lies between minus 1 and 1. So we can divide both sides, the whole inequality, by n. Now we know that if we take limit n tends to infinity minus 1 by n, that is 0, and if we take limit n tends to infinity 1 by n, that is also 0. So that means if we say that an and bn and say something hn, so if limit n tends to infinity an is equal to limit n tends to infinity bn converging to the same limit, say L, then sandwich theorem says that limit n tends to infinity hn will also be L. So by this rule, limit n tends to infinity sin n by n will be equal to 0, because in our case an and bn, the limit of an and bn is coming out to be 0. Let's say question number 20. So limit, need to find out limit n tend to infinity sine square n by 2 raised to power n. Now our sin n was lying between minus 1 and 1, so that's why sine squared n will lie between 0 and 1. So in the previous question we divided the expression by n. Now we shall divide the expression by 2 raised to power n, because that's what we want in the place of hn. Now if you see the left hand side, that is 0, and if you see the right hand side inequality expression which is at the right hand side, that is also coming out to be 0. So of course the expression which is sandwiched between these two things will also have a value 0 as n tends to infinity, again by sandwich theorem. Now we shall do few questions on the basis of L'Hopital rule. So we have, say, question number 21. That's what limit n tends to infinity n by 2 raised to power n. So if we keep on differentiating, so you see that individually limit n tends to infinity n is infinite, limit n tends to infinity 2 raised to power n is also infinite. So this is infinite by infinite form. So we'll differentiate So if we differentiate the numerator with respect to n, we'll get 1, and if we differentiate the denominator, it will become 2n log 2. So now if you take the limit n tends to infinity, so this will become 1 upon infinite, so which will come out to be 0. Let's say question number 23. So limit n tends to infinity log n plus 1 upon root n. So again this will come out to be infinite by infinite form. So with the same argument, we'll differentiate numerator and denominator with respect to n. So this will become limit n tends to infinity 2 root n upon n plus 1. Right. So we'll take the highest power common. So that means limit n tends to infinity 2n, and we'll take root n common. So this will become root n plus 1 by root n. So in denominator n is over there, only the term containing n is over there, and 1 by root n will of course become 0. So root n plus 0, that will become root n, and if we take n to be infinite, so that become 2 by infinite, which will generate 0. Now I shall write few cases which are actually used when we calculate various limits. These results are mentioned in the table 8.1, so I'll state over here as well. The results are first of all, limit n tends to infinity log n upon n is equal to 0. Second, limit n tends to infinity, this is 1. Third, limit n tends to infinity x raised to power 1 by n is equal to 1 for all x greater than 0. Fourth, limit n tends to infinity xn is equal to 0 whenever your x lying between minus 1 and 1, or in other words, mod x is less than 1. Fifth result is limit n tends to infinity 1 plus x by n raised to power n is equal to e raised to power x for all x. And the last one is limit n tends to infinity xn upon n factorial, sometimes we write it as this, is equal to 0 for all x belongs to the real. These are the results which we'll be using in our question very frequently. So let's do few questions over that. So let us start with this one. Question number 30. Find limit n tends to infinity root n square n. Right. So this is something which can be written as limit n tends to infinity n square power 1 by n. Limit n tends to infinity n power 1 by n 2. Now from second result we already know that limit n raised to power 1 by n tends to infinity is 1. So here by our second result we can directly write it as 1 square, that is 1. So next is question number 33, that is what? Limit n tends to infinity log n raised to power 1 by n. So that becomes limit n tends to infinity log n. So let's separate the limit of numerator and denominator. So now you know that at denominator it will come out to be 1, as we have done the second result. Once again you can see the second result over here, so we are using it again. So this will come out to be 1, but above it will come out to be infinite. So overall answer would be infinite. Now say question number 36. You need to find out limit n tends to infinity 3 raised to power 2n plus 1 n. So that would be limit n raised to power infinity 3 raised to power 2n plus 1 whole power 1 by n. So limit n tends to infinity 3 raised to power 2n plus 1 by n. So now we can write it as, let me make some space. So limit n tends to infinity, so if we divide, if separate the terms, divided 2n by n, that will become 2n plus 1 by n. So the answer would be 3 raised to power 2 plus 0, that means 9. Question number 37. Limit n tends to infinity factorial n upon n raised to power n. Now this is slightly different. So let's say how it works. So we can write it as limit n tends to infinity 1 into 2 into 3 and so on. Last we are left by n, and we have n raised to power n, that means we have n factor. So we'll separate each n over these brackets, right? Now this is 1 by n, 2 by n and so on. N 1 minus 2 by n, 1 minus 1 by n into 1. Now this is something which would be less than or equal to 1 by n. This is a hint which is given to us that you can compare it with this. Now fair enough, but we also know that since your n is a natural number, so if you put n any value of n, this will also be greater than equal to 0. So again you can implement sandwich theorem, right? So you know that limit n tends to infinity 1 by n is 0, limit n tends to infinity 0 is also 0. So that means both these sides will go to 0 as n tends to infinity. So by sandwich theorem, limit n tends to infinity factorial n upon n raised to power n will also be 0. Now see this. Find out the limit n tends to infinity minus 4 raised to power n upon factorial n. Now again we have done this result over here, we have 5 result over here, and 6, and the 6th result, if you see that x raised to power n upon n factorial is always 0 for any x belongs to the R, right? So that would be limit n tends to infinity, what should I say, by this result, it will become 0. Why? Because we know the result for any x this expression will be 0. Question number 41. So if you need to find out limit n tends to infinity 1 by n raised to power 1 by log n. So in the power contains the term n, so we can write it as limit n tends to infinity, right? So take the exponential of this whole expression along with the log, right? It will make no difference. Now limit n tends to infinity, so this log will do what? Exponential of 1 by log n log of 1 by n, right? So this can be written as limit n tends to infinity exponential or e raised to power. So just to make the font clear, I am writing it as exponential of for the clearer fonts, log n. So now your log 1 is 0. So this will become exponential of minus log n by log n. So this will become e raised to power minus 1, that is 1 by e. So answer is 1 by e. Question number 43. So we need to find out limit n tends to infinity 3n plus 1 upon 3n minus 1 raised to power n, right? So limit n tends to infinity, so again we can write it as exponential of log of 3n plus 1 upon 3n minus 1 raised to power n, right? So in this way we can write it as limit n tends to infinity exponential of n log of 3n plus 1 upon 3n minus 1, right? N log of 3n plus 1 minus log of 3n minus 1, right? So we can write it as limit n tends to infinity exponential of, so this n we can also write it as 1 by n. So now this will again become, we can apply the L'Hopital rule over here. So we'll write it as 1 upon 3n plus 1 minus 1 upon 3n minus 1, and here the differentiation of 1 by n, that is minus 1 by n square. So let me take this expression for a while over the next page. So let me write it over here. So this will become 3n minus 1 minus 3n plus 1 upon 3n plus 1 into 3n minus 1 upon minus 1 by n square, right? So this would be limit n tends to infinity exponential of this whole expression. Now I don't need this expression, let me erase this. Now limit n tends to infinity exponential of, so this 3n and 3n will get cancelled, and -1 and -1 will become -2. This expression will become 9n square minus 1 upon -1 by n square, right? So this will become limit n tends to infinity 2n square upon 9n square minus 1 exponential. I've missed one thing. That's what, when I have differentiated this, and it will be the 3 derivative of 3n will also be there. So I'll take 3 as common, into 3, so this will become 6n square, right? So now this will become what? You take the highest power common, so that will become e raised to power 6 by 9, so e raised to power 2 by 3. Next one is question number 44. Find limit n tends to infinity n upon n plus 1 raised to power n. This is pretty much easy. You can write dividing numerator and denominator by n. You are left with this. So limit n tends to infinity 1 upon, so you divide n by n, this will become 1 plus 1 by n whole power n, and you know that 1 raised to power n is 1. So by that result this will become e, so that is our answer. Next is, say, question number 48. Need to find out limit n tends to infinity 10 by 11 raised to power n upon 9 by 10 raised to power n plus 11 by 12 raised to power n. Now take limit n raised to power infinity, take (11 by 12 raised to power n as common. Now this expression doesn't have 11 raised to power 10, so in order to compensate here, we will write it as 12 by 11 raised to power n. So here this expression is, here only 1 will be left. So now we can write it as limit n raised to power infinite 12 by 11 raised to power n into 10 by 11 raised to power n. And here you have 1 by 8 and 110 raised to power n plus 1. So now you see that it will become what? Limit n raised to power n goes to infinite. So since the power nn is common, so your n and n are same and the expressions are in multiplication. So here we can multiply 12 by 10 and 11 by 11. So this will become 120 by 121 raised to power n upon. So here we have 108 upon 110 raised to power n plus 1. Now you see that these numbers, these both expressions are of the form where limit n tends to infinity x raised to power n and mod x is less than 1. So the answer would be 0. You see that numerator is smaller than that of denominator. So of course the whole number is less than 1. And here again numerator is smaller than that of the denominator, so that's why the whole number x is less than 1, right? So that means this above expression, the numerator will go to 0, denominator will go to 0 plus 1, so the answer would be 0. Now let's say question number 57. Limit n tends to infinity log n raised to power 200 upon n. That's what we want. Now you know that numerator and denominator both are going to infinite, so that's why we will differentiate numerator and denominator with respect to n. So if you differentiate numerator, so this will become 200 log n raised to power 199 into derivative of log n, that is 1 by n, and differentiation of n in denominator will become 9. So we are left with the expression 200 log n raised to power 199 1 by n, sorry, that 1 by n will be here. Now again we are reached at the same point where numerator and denominator are approaching to infinite as we take limit n tends to infinite. So again apply the L'Hopital rule. So differentiate numerator 200, this is constant, so 199, it will get multiplied by 199 and log n will have the power 198 into derivative of log n, that is 1 by n, and differentiation of n will become 1. So now we are left with the expression 200 199 into log n raised to power 198 upon n. So now we'll keep on differentiating how many times? 190 times more, and we'll have the expression as 200 limit n tends to infinite, 200 199 198, these numbers will get multiplied and this will become factorial of 200, and we have n in the denominator. So numerator is constant, in denominator there is only n, so if you take the limit n tends to infinity, it will become 0.